Teaching just got more challenging. We are learning about teaching long distance. We are learning about the day-to-day challenges facing everyone. We are remembering why we all gathered in the same room to share ideas, work on a whiteboard, and hold a pen in our hand. Now, more than ever, our passion for teaching drives us forward. We are discovering, inventing, and experimenting. We are learning about teaching. We are learning about each other. We are learning about learning.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome back. We're so excited to bring you this panel discussion with Beth Tumminello, chemistry teacher in New York, Lisa Cumming, Olmsted Falls, Ohio, and Justin Backeberg, Reedsburg, Wisconsin. And I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you in just a second. Our panel today is titled, our topic is And Action, and we're going to spend just a little bit of time with you talking about techniques for making videos. Workflows, how it works, how to make it easier. So we're excited to hear what these three really innovative, and I have to say, after knowing you all for at least several months or longer, really creative ways to use video in your science, your chemistry classes, and so Justin doesn't feel left out in your math classes. So let's start with some introductions. Lisa, you want to introduce yourself to us?
My name is Lisa Cumming, and I teach chemistry in Cleveland, Ohio. Olmsted Falls, actually.
Terrific. Beth, say hi.
Hi, my name is Beth Tumminello, and I teach chemistry and AP chemistry in a public high school, Long Island, New York.
That's great. And Justin's representing all of math education. Here you go, Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin Backeberg. This year I'm teaching Algebra 1 and Pre-Calc at Reedsburg, Wisconsin. Yeah, glad to be with you guys.
That's terrific. That's terrific. So all three of you, you know, I think educators everywhere are interested to hear how you plan, how you decide, yes, I want to use a video for this particular concept or piece of instruction. And so if we can start there and then just talk about what you do next, kind of, I think what producers would say, what your workflow is. So Justin, can you go first?
Sure. So I flip my classroom. So I do basically all of my lessons on video. And I guess my first couple of years, 2-3 years, I guess I would kind of consider myself a traditional teacher where I was up in front of the class lecturing at my smartboard. And really, I just kind of got this idea that I could do something better for my students. And I stumbled across this idea of the flipped classroom. And that's really where I started with creating these videos. So I basically just took all the notes that I had already made in Smart Notebook, because that's the software that I was using at the time. And basically, I just started recording myself going through those. So I just took everything that I already had. I didn't try to reinvent the wheel at all. And that really made it easy transition for me.
Okay, that's really good to know. Lisa, I see you nodding. Jump in here. Tell us about your process a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I started about 15 years ago. I flipped my classroom, and back then there wasn't really a whole lot available as far as videos, podcasts, all of that. So I actually started out with PowerPoints and then used software and added my voice discussing the notes. And like Justin, that was kind of the main means of getting information across. And then the students would work on problem sets and labs and everything in the classroom. So I found it was really helpful with a diverse class because the students could kind of move at their own pace. You know, the kids that were a little quicker could go faster. The kids that needed a little bit more time could go a little bit slower. But I've morphed that concept and started using other means of making podcasts, like the Wacom tablet has really helped a lot. But PowerPoints for me was the way to go initially.
Okay, we're going to come back to that point. Beth, jump in here.
Sure. I think when I'm planning my videos, I try to do them like lesson planning. So Justin mentioned not reinventing the wheel. There's nothing extra that you have to do that you wouldn't already be doing for teaching this lesson in class. And so I'm going to work through all the broad strokes of whatever concept or problem set I'm teaching or going over the same exact way that I would do it for if I was going to be teaching it in the classroom on my smartboard. And, you know, I don't try to do perfection on my videos. I just try to go through the lesson. We don't get a do-over when we're teaching it in class. So I just try to go through it, trying to keep it as simplified as possible to go through whatever I would go through and just save that class time.
Okay, that's really helpful to know. Lisa, you said that your pen tablet, your Wacom pen tablet had helped. I'm just curious, can you tell us a little more about that when you're making videos?
In chemistry, there's so much formula writing and mathematics involved and drawing structures and graphs and such. So I found with PowerPoint, at least it would take me so long to make all of those. And it wasn't really authentic because it wasn't in my handwriting. So I did try a live scribe pen years ago, and the kids loved those pen casts that I made, you know, because it was in my own handwriting and such, and they made that comment. So when I got a hold of the Wacom tablet and started using that to make the podcast, I got the same kind of reaction. They liked the fact that it was in my handwriting, they were hearing my voice, I was writing, and then quite frankly, it was so much simpler. It took so much less time, and I'm kind of a fly by night kind of lecturer. I don't have notes. I don't really have an outline, and so using the Wacom tablet kind of allowed me to do that in my video making.
That's great. That's great. Beth, do you have anything you want to jump in here with?
It's funny because I started with a live scribe pen also, and I heard that, and that was something that really drew me to it. When I bought my live scribe, I was between that and a Wacom product, and I just couldn't get the Wacom product, the bamboo. I couldn't get it for some reason, and that's why I got the live scribe. And just the Wacom tablet makes it just so much simpler because of the fact that you can use it with whatever you are already using, whether it's PowerPoint, Smart Notebook, or any other slide deck program. Just being able to write directly on your teaching tools that you're already preparing for class in your own handwriting while speaking just makes it so simple and so authentic for the kids. And there's just such that connection because they want to hear you and they want your teaching about the subject.
Justin, has having digital ink and just the ability to write digitally, has that changed some of the ways either you're delivering in-class instruction or making videos? Just curious.
Yeah, so when I first started making my videos, I didn't have anything to write with. So I was trying to write with my Smart Notebook using my mouse on my computer. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I have terrible handwriting. And so when I'm trying to write with a mouse, that was next to impossible, and it took me forever to make videos. And so as soon as I found my first Wacom Intuos, which I still have somewhere, it's probably like 7 years old by now, but that was a game changer for me, and it just made life so much easier as far as making those videos, just with all the notation that goes into math. There aren't that many good programs out there that allow you to type something out quickly and easily, so just being able to write things out is so much smoother for me.
Okay, that's really helpful to know. And Lisa, you said something in your last answer where you said it really saves you time. And I think sometimes when we hear, as educators, we hear a video, we think, oh my gosh, lights, camera, action, and a whole lot of time. And what I'm hearing the three of you say is that this is a lot quicker, right? This doesn't take up an entire weekend to do a 5-minute video. Is that?
I mean, I would say I probably spend maybe 30 minutes thinking about what I'm going to do in the video and then actually doing the video. And as you know, I have a student teacher currently, and so what I've done is actually gone into my back room while she's teaching, and I can create videos back there in that back room. So I would say 30 minutes probably for a 5-minute video as far as preparation, and then actually recording it, and then maybe going in and editing. But as Beth said, like, the videos don't have to be perfect. Like, there's a cat meowing in one of my videos, and I think my kids are slamming a door in another one. And my students see that and they hear it, and it actually makes it more real for them. You know, they'll actually comment, "Oh, I heard your cat meowing," or because we're supposed to be real for the kids, and I think that makes it more real. So
Makes a big difference. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Justin, you've done something kind of fun with your videos, the open and the close. And you want to just, people can see examples of that on the Wacom community site, but can you talk about just that and a little bit about why you did that for kids? Because I just thought it was such an innovative way of looking at doing videos.
I just wanted to have something fun, kind of unique to make these videos mine, and I just made a quick intro on, well, it wasn't quick to make. It's only like an 8-second intro, but I spent way too much time putting it together because I wanted to have just this cool thing for my students when they turn in one of my videos.
Yeah, it's like it brands your classes. And it gives,
definitely.
and I think kids probably have fun doing this. For all three of you, and Beth, maybe you'll take this one first. You're using Smart Notebook, right, or your Smartboard, correct?
Yes.
And so I think sometimes it gets confusing. So how do you get from there to make a video? You have to use another video program, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
tell us about that.
Sure. I have used a couple of different programs. Currently, I am using Screencastify because my school has a license for it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be Screencastify. There are tons of different options that have free versions and paid versions that you can do, all different things with. But because of the license that my school has for Smart Notebook, I use that for my pen tools. And my lessons are already in Smart Notebook, so I'm not doing anything extra there. And all I'm doing is using the Screencastify as the capture tool. You can also use, there's a native program on a PC or a Mac that you can use. You don't even need to use an education-based one, where you're just screen recording, and whatever you are writing on your screen is going to be recorded along with your audio. So I'm using Screencastify. There are other ones. Explain Everything, Loom. There's so many different ones that have free educator licenses and things like that.
Cami, I think, is another one, right?
Yep.
Right. And some of
there's
those,
just so many.
Yeah, and those, there are 90-day pro versions included for folks who are now buying Wacom Intuos or One by Wacom or the Wacom One. So and try some of those. So that helps too. If you're new to this, you can try a lot of things and see what's going to work best for you. Justin, what are you using for recording?
Yeah, right now I'm using Camtasia.
Okay.
When I first started making my videos, I was just using my school Mac, and so I was just using QuickTime on there. But as I was making my videos, sometimes I kind of felt like my mouth was moving faster than my brain, and I have a habit of stumbling over my words. And so when that's happening, 3-4 times in a video, I decided that I want a tool that had a little bit more powerful editing capabilities.
Sure.
So Camtasia is a program that I bought for myself, just to have some extra tools to be able to do those kinds of things with my videos.
Okay, good to know. Lisa, what are you using?
Like Justin, I'm using Camtasia.
Okay.
For the same reasons. I like the editing. I made some podcast videos that were too long. I think 5 to 7 minutes should kind of be the max. And so Camtasia is really cool because you can clip. you can clip the videos, and then you can kind of seamlessly make them seem like they were an individual video. So the kids don't know that some of the videos they're watching have actually been 10-minute videos that have been clipped into 2 5-minute videos. So it's not super expensive, and it's pretty easy to use. And it does have a lot of, but I've also used Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, I've used Loom, but I always seem to go back to Camtasia.
Yeah, listen, if it's working, but you gave us a great segue here, because I think sometimes we hear videos and we think, oh my gosh, it's got to be like 30 minutes of instruction. And that's not it, right, folks?
Correct.
No, not at all.
Say more, Justin. Short is better, right? Shorter
Yeah,
is better. Okay.
I guess the adage that I always hear when talking about the flipped classroom is about a minute per grade level. So like when I'm dealing with my freshmen, I don't want to give them a video that's any more than 10 minutes long, because they'll lose focus, and the lectures that you give in class just naturally take longer because you're answering those questions, and you get sidetracked every now and then. So what you're normally doing in a class period really does go so much faster when you're recording it on a video.
Okay. And do all three of you in your learning management systems, you can track to see students have watched these videos? Are you watching that? Yes, they're doing it. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for teachers that are just starting, right, with all of this, maybe they're new digital ink users, Wacom users, maybe they're longtime Wacom users, but they're not making a lot of videos. What would you tell them when they start? What should they do first?
I would start small.
Okay.
When I did it, I picked one unit the first year, flipped that one. I tried to pick a unit that I knew really well, that I was really comfortable with, that I already had materials for. So I would start small, start with one unit, then maybe the next year go all in, add some units.
Okay. Beth, how about you?
I would say the most important thing is something we've all said a couple of times, is that they want to see you. If you make a couple of mistakes, if you have a couple, if you have a little issue here or there, the kids are going to want to see that it's you. And
Okay.
if you won't put yourself up on the screen unless you're perfect, that's not what we want them to do in the classroom. We want them to put themselves out there. So hearing your cat, in the background, or making a, forgetting what you're about to say for a second doesn't mean that you have to redo the whole thing and scrap it. You can just go straight through, and as long as it's not, as long as you didn't completely have your brain fall out and mess up completely, you can get away with keeping that as a video. And it's so much better use of your time to just get through more of them and let your students see you as that human presence where, we make mistakes too. And it's, look at this, I'm still putting this on video. And so now you're safe and you're comfortable making mistakes maybe in front of me as well. Put it out there as being very human.
Oh, a question for Justin around math, and then I'm going to ask our two science educators. Justin, from time to time, you do have students produce their own math videos as end of unit or end of semester projects, right?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of that. Mm-hmm.
How's that gone for you? And importantly for your students, do they learn more? Is it a good tool even for assessments for you?
Yeah, definitely. I guess I always heard going through college, the best way to learn something is to try to teach it to somebody else.
Right.
So I've had students record videos, usually just on their phone, of them explaining a topic or a couple of topics. And so they have to spend time kind of thinking about things and really gauging their own understanding of that. So then the information that they can present to me really shows me how much they know about that subject.
Are they doing super math intros to their videos like their teacher?
Not quite as professional level, but
not yet.
They do a great job with that stuff.
So let's ask our two chemistry educators. I know this has been tough particularly for science educators, because of the trying to find ways around the hands-on science learning and hands-on activities. Has video helped play a role in that, either videos you create or simulations? I must have asked the right question. Beth, you want to start, and then we'll let Lisa jump in here.
Sure. I've used a combination of simulations, online simulations that the school got a subscription to in light of this year's challenges, as well as I've made some videos as along with my colleagues where we've done the lab. I have a couple of videos where I'm just doing the lab and talking through it. I have other ones where I'm doing the lab and showing the step, from their lab manual up on the screen, and then just having it with no audio except for the audio that you would hear if you were stirring or, something like that. And I've done other ones where I've done it in a slide deck on a Google Slides presentation with the video embedded where, they're on step 5, so they're on slide 5, and they're watching the different videos of the steps. And I've done a couple of different things like that. And I think for each of them, they're not a direct replacement for hands-on, but at least they can see the observations of what they're missing.
Right. They can still begin to learn basic lab techniques, observation techniques, and data collection and analysis. Exactly. Lisa, I know you're using some video simulations and other things. What's been your experience this year? Then we're going to ask about next year.
Yeah, I've tried some simulations, and I wasn't impressed with the ones that we were using, so I actually got a GoPro.
Wow.
Put it on my head.
Oh my gosh.
So the kids could actually see my hands. That was not my original idea. A friend of mine in California who's a professor was talking about this one day with me, and I kind of stole the idea. So I put the GoPro on, and then the students could see my hands manipulating everything. I mean, it's not, like Beth said, it's not perfect, right? But I think it was better than the actual simulations that are out there. So, and my students could see my hands and, read the balance. And so it was better than not doing labs as far as I was concerned. So.
And this is actually for all three of you, but we'll start with the science side of the house. For next year, do you think you'll get back to more hands-on lab activities, or are we still going to have limitations around sharing equipment and being close around a lab bench, those kinds of things? What's your sense?
We're actually all in, and
okay.
My students are actually, thank God, we're actually doing real labs. The room's bustling. Great. I mean, it feels kind of normal almost.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
Beth, how about for you?
We are all in, but we are still heavily advised against sharing equipment and minimizing. We're advised to minimize contact. So what I've started to do now that we are able to do some hands-on stuff is I'll do labs and I'll break it up into chunks. And so if there are, 4 students in the group, one person is in charge of doing the first quarter, and then they rotate so that the other 3 students are on the other side of the lab bench behind their dividers, and one person is manipulating. And then after that person is done with their portion, everybody has to go and wash hands, and then the next person has to go. And so that we're doing the constant hand washing, making a single period lab maybe take double period, but at least they're doing.
Yeah, they're getting some hands-on science learning.
And with the students who are at home, they're joining via a Google Meet breakout room so that the students in class have, some sort of device propped up in front of the lab material so that they can be involved in some way.
Okay. And Justin, for you, I know you guys have been mostly back in or keep going back. You start next week, right? Everybody's back.
Yeah, Tuesday we get everybody back.
Yeah. What do you think will change in terms of the way you're teaching and the way you're using technology of all flavors? Pen tablets plus other things.
For me, I don't think a whole lot is going to change, at least initially. Before all of this happened, I always like to have my desks in little pods so that the kids could work together and talk through things on their own without always needing me to be there. This year, with just all the safety precautions, I haven't had my desks in pods and trying to keep them spaced out. They've just been in rows. So it's been a lot more of me bouncing around helping as opposed to the group work side of things. But hopefully soon next year, we'll be able to get back to, maybe more of the way that things used to be.
Used to be. Sure. That's great. Well, listen, the three of you have been just wonderful, and I hope the people watching live and people that will see this video later will be inspired to go try and make some videos, short to start with, using those flipped classroom principles. And so for Beth, thank you so much. Lisa, thank you so much. Justin, thank you so much. My official opinion is that you three have very lucky students. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.